All right, these are just some snaps of different things that I've been doing. I'll start with the one with the horses in the barn. That was one of my favorite shots. It's from the Calgary Stampede, and those are chuck wagon horses, thoroughbreds that love to race. They are very athletic. They love to run, but you can tell they also have a mischievous. The one is after my hat, the other one's after a ribbon on my purse, and they just had me in hysterics. The one below it, my friend and I are watching the chuck wagon races from the infield stadium at the Calgary Stampede. And again, I've been so blessed. Her husband is one of the vets that looks after the horses. And so he has pull and getting special passes and things like that, which is great. The center one is at the Stampede breakfast that we have during the Stampede, and this was at the local golf club. I'm invited and part of her tribe. She has 9 grandkids, and so we all get together and have a wonderful meal and do some Stampede dancing and listen to music. It's wonderful. The one at the bottom there is me with the pooches walking the dogs in the park. I have a little dog. They're Shetland Shelties, called Shelties, and my little girl is called Jitterbug. The other bigger guy is named Tanner, and he belongs to my friend, but they're buddies. We go for walks together. They love to play. They bring so much enjoyment to my life. Now, the photo at the top is me waiting for the rain to stop at the folk festival. We have this beautiful folk festival down at Princess Island Park. It's a 4-day event. We have artists from all over the world that come. But a little story I want to just share when this is that you're in the big field there, and there's
There's an
always
old one in there. My
golf
son's
carts
I'll wait for a fresh one.
zipping around, delivering the artists to the stage and their equipment. Well,
Nathan M just got here.
so I went to do that and went to get a snack. And then, I was coming back and I almost got run over by a golf cart. So I wrote this little poem, and it's called Almost Got Run Over by a Golf Cart, returning to my spot at the festival site. Kettle corn, popcorn, and gelato, my 2 favorite treats, would have been found at the accident site. Luckily, I was able to avoid disaster. Leaping aside in the nick of time, beware of those zooming golf carts sneaking up on you from behind. I do know that this year they won't be sneaking up on me because I can hear so much better. I think that that's just a little snap of what I do for fun. So now we can talk about my cochlear implant. I wasn't very professional, but I thought you needed to hear that. I usually sing it, but I didn't sing it for you. So I was at least restraining myself. Okay. I didn't really notice any problems with my hearing when I was growing up, but my cousins, we've always been a very close group. They just recently shared that I used to stare at them so intently that it would freak them out when we were playing as kids. And so I'm thinking I must have been already into using facial cues to help me out. I did, when I went to university, I studied education working with younger children, but I got my first set of hearing aids. Probably I'd been teaching maybe 5 or 6 years, and to help with the classroom challenges. I have to say that as my hearing continued to fail, the hearing aids became more and more powerful. And at the very end, we even did some classroom modifications where we had carpet on the floor, cork board on the walls, which made great for a teaching experience, but it wasn't enough to keep me in the classroom. It was just so exhausting trying to hear everything, so exhausting. The fatigue was amazing. So I retired from classroom teaching just before my 50th birthday. I was still able to do some one-on-one tutoring for a while, which was really important because I wasn't ready to stop working with children. But after a while, the universe decided to give me another challenge to deal with. My left ear stopped having anything to offer for the hearing aid to work. So everything after that became more of a challenge. I had one hearing aid, and already it was like severe what it was doing. But from going to the folk festival to going to the Stampeder games, the thing that was the hardest was family gatherings. It was really a challenge because I could only stay for a short amount of time because I was so exhausted trying to hear everything. And then when I wanted to talk to somebody, you'd snuggle up and everybody else got like, why is she ignoring me and this kind of stuff? But so eventually, last summer, I finally had my first appointment with the cochlear implant team. I was 76 years old. I must say it was slightly overwhelming because I think my heart finally accepted what my head had known for a very long time, that my hearing there was not much left. There was not much left. So I made a plan to educate myself and surrounded myself with all kinds of support. I went to the support group. I started meeting people who had had implants or were planning on it and did that. So by the time I met with my surgeon, Dr. Yuna Huang, I was ready to see what her plan was. The CT scan showed scarring in both of my inner ears. So it was like, she said, well, go with the one that has the least scarring. So according to my surgeon, the left ear, who had been deaf for almost 16 years, with the cochlear company device, offered the most promise for a successful surgery. So we went for that. February 24th was my surgery this year. It took a little longer than normal, took a little longer to come out of the anesthesia, but it was successful. I was activated on April the 3rd, and I started hearing sounds right away. The walking on the crunching snow here in Calgary, and opening up the poop bags. Who knew the plastic made sound? And reading, I couldn't figure out what the scraping sound was, my fingers turning the pages. So what I decided to do is I started going for a hearing walk at the local mall for 1 hour a day, just trying to hear new sounds and recognize what they were and to have as many conversations as possible. Well, most voices still sound like Alvin the Chipmunk, but I know that'll pass. And the thing that's most important is that I can hear your voice and I can understand what's being said. My progress has been amazing. I've gone through various maps, different levels of loudness. I have excellent speech perception, 84% with no visual cues. And at my last meeting with the cochlear team, my audiologist said that I'd blown the realistic expectations for cochlear recipients out of the water. I've never blown anything out of the water for a very, very long time. So I am feeling so blessed. It's like this is Joey's miracle. And I just would like to end up by saying overall health status is way more important than just age. If you're thinking about getting an assessment or if you're a person doing the assessment, and hearing is so good for your mental health. I mean, I feel like I've got a new lease on life. Thank you so much for letting me share my story.